Hello, and welcome to this mini learning in my human in the loop journey on digitizing events. And last week, I've been spending a lot of time on image generation, which is something that I personally know is important because the job of thumbnails, other than giving you a professional look, is to drive click throughs. What you can see on the screen here is my sort of retrospective from this week. And while the thumbnails do improve click-through rates, they do it at a small percentage. So perhaps 2% max is the shift we've seen from a good thumbnail. So in my view, they're one of those things that are aggregate multipliers. If all of your thumbnails are behaving optimally, all of them are giving you, say, a 1%, 2% kick, in the aggregate over 10,000 views, that becomes a big number. But individually, they are not that deterministic in terms of what's going to work and what's not going to work. And you can see that yourself here on the stats around the retrospectives and the framing of them. And look, to be honest, some of them I don't expect them to work. They're just a habit I'm forming to keep a catalog of what I'm doing. But there are ones where, there is no pretty thumbnail, but they just really resonate with the audience and what we're trying to do. So the content creation part of getting the right title, getting the right messaging in there, that is where I believe human effort should be, but the thumbnails are still important. Now, in the old world, for example, if you got to a new thumbnail formula that gave you a little bit more, applying that new formula to every single asset you have, every single digital asset. So I'm not just talking about, YouTube here. You could even go to your website, right? And you can say, hey, this look is not really working. It's not driving click-throughs. So let's change all of these thumbnails. 2 years ago, that would have been a job that you would have just completely dismissed. But now it's very real because these image generation tools are getting so much better. And not only are they getting better, they are getting better at, delivering you something super effective. So if you have content like my retrospectives where the face is important, let's park to one side whether staring at your own face all the time is a good thing for you or not, but it is important. Adding your image onto those thumbnails was a job. You got the background, you got your image, you overlaid it in Canva, you typed in some text and so on. And that was true maybe 6 months ago. All of those steps still needed to be taken. Now, however, that is no longer the case. So the AI image generators and OpenAI's image generators, still the best at this, are getting very good at writing text. They used to be rubbish. The text ended up being garbled. They're also getting very good at putting your image into the image composition. What you can see on the screen are all the tests that I did where I spent a day trying to get this working. And one of the learnings is the more high contrast your image, the better in terms of putting it in. But all of these images you can see are very, very good representations of my image. Now, again, let's put on the parking lot the fact that these images are about 4 years old and I might need some new ones. And when the image is generated, like with this one here, all my wrinkles get removed. I'll take that. But the point is, again, adding images to those things, while it was possible with AI, still needed 3 steps in order to do it. Now, let me show you where the reality is today. This is the workflow that creates that thumbnail. I'm going to run it and just talk you through conceptually what's happening. And I'm going to run it for this latest retrospective number 15. Let me just run it. Let me tell you what's happening. I have got Perplexity analyzing the description to pull out the key points. I've got OpenAI actually creating the prompt to generate the image. And in here, I've only got one call. So again, this is what used to take 2 calls. I've got one call where I've uploaded my reference image and I've said, make sure this person is in this image, create the thumbnail. And it goes off and does that. And then it rattles all the way through. And the reason why I need Google Cloud Storage is because I need it visible. And then I need to resize it to a thumbnail image and so on. And it just shoots all the way through and uploads that image to YouTube. Now, again, like I said, that in itself, while it's impressive, what's the business benefit? What's the business benefit in Aggregate? And I'm going to come on to that now. So here's the realization that I've come to, and perhaps I was being a bit slow, but it just really sort of hit me about 3 days ago while I was walking around in the kitchen and thinking things through about everything that I'm running, is AI is where we should place, and this is a phrase I've stolen from Clive Woodward's book, Winning, all the critical non-essentials. So the creation of your YouTube thumbnails, your video post-production, your generating short-form videos, your technical SEO, all the other things. And there's more. All of those things are like a time hoover. And by doing that and offloading that responsibility, it does take time because you need to, for the first time ever, cut apart your content workflows and say, okay, where are these things that I can hand over to AI? What do they look like? And what's the system behind it? Like, I haven't shown it to you, but that prompt that creates that embedded image is quite a long prompt. It took a day to create, but now that it's created, it's systemic. If it fails or we want to upgrade it, you just do that edit in one place. So what that does is all that time, all those jobs now being offloaded to AI give headspace for human creativity. They give headspace for doing the things that these GPT-based models are never going to do, like joining the dots, creating those abstract connections, writing words in a way where it's going to resonate with your audience. In my case, people who are running small businesses or startups. And then you wrap all of that in an AI feedback loop so that that your critical non-essentials are being optimized all the time. And by AI feedback loop, for example, with the thumbnails, what we're doing is like every thumbnail change, there is a feedback loop into the data that monitors whether it's improved or not improved. So you're constantly ticking to the right or left side of this inverted U curve. Hopefully, what you're doing is you're staying at the top or near about the top. And I think that is where my view, when I look at knowledge work, we've ended up over the years wrapping ourselves up so much at the top end of this U curve that we don't have the time to be working on this left-hand side where you really see big improvements. So now that this is finished running, we just reload this. We'll have that new thumbnail in place. And I purposely recorded this live, and I'm not going to lie, I was a bit nervous about it, but this thumbnail perfectly captures the essence of the message that I wanted to give in this retrospective. And that is a very, very good thumbnail in my view. The main realization that I've come to is offload to AI all of these critical non-essentials that are running around in your business that are taking up cognitive load of your talent, and release your talent to do the intelligent human things. I believe that's a winning formula. I'm going to be talking about it more because I can see how it would work within a consulting and AI transformation framework. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you found this informative. If you actually want the details of those prompts about how to generate those thumbnails, drop me a comment and I'll share them with you. Thanks again.